All right. Good evening, Columbus, Ohio. I am Quay Morgan Hill. I'm a radio personality on the Quay Morgan Hill Show on Jetson's Radio Columbus. Make sure you check me out every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for today. I will not be there today. But welcome to Columbus Black International Film Festival, Collective 2020 first annual live read. Today's table read is entitled Asha. We're glad to have you here with us. Thanks for tuning in. A special thanks to our sponsors and partners, Columbus Foundation, Greater Columbus Art Council, Ohio Arts Council, Wexner Center for the Arts, and Design Blaze, Nicolette Simographics, JB Creative Media, Streetlight Guild, Roy G. Bev Gallery, and 400 Square. Again, this is Columbus Black International Film Festival. Collective 2020, the first annual live table read. And today's table read is entitled Asha.
Interior, office hallway day. Bill and Dave, both early 30s, white male, have a hushed conversation. Dave holds a thick folder.
Just give it to Asha. We won't have time to finish it and make our tea time.
But this is a big project. I don't think that we can really go and...
Listen to me, man. Put it on her desk. She'll do it. You know she will. Just pick it up tomorrow. Then we can present it to Mr. Stone at tomorrow's meeting.
Okay. Meet you outside.
Bill and Dave look up and down the hall, then part ways. Interior, Asha's office day. Asha, late 20s, black, sits at her desk and holds an open folder. A laptop, nameplate, and in and out pile sits on her desk. In pile is empty. Out pile is stacked with folders. Her brow is furrowed. She sighs deeply and looks to a poster on the wall. Poster. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Asha looks back to the folder with another deep sigh. She taps a few keys on her laptop.
Almost done.
She closes the folder and reaches to put it in the pile. Before she places the folder, Dave enters Asha's office without knocking. She looks up at him and pauses.
Hey, Asia.
Asha reacts to Dave calling her the wrong name, but says nothing.
Can you handle the Peterson account for me? I'm bogged down with a few other clients, and I was hoping you can handle this one for me.
I have a lot of...
Thanks. I'll swing by in the morning to pick it up. You're the best.
Dave drops the folder on her desk and exits.
What the...
Asha presses her fingertips to her temples to nurse a sudden but mild tension headache. It quickly passes. She looks at the thick folder and then her watch. It says 4:30 p.m.
Seriously, I'm never gonna make it on time now.
Asha pulls out her cell phone and texts.
Hey, Anna. Rain check. Extra work dropped on me. Sorry.
Sound. Text message chimes.
I know. It's the third time this week.
Irritated, Asha puts down the phone and picks up the folder and begins to work on it. Dissolve to Interior, Dave's office next morning. Asha walks to Dave's office with the thick folder. Outside of Dave's office, Asha overhears Bill speaking to Dave. Asha walks in as Bill talks.
Glad we got to the greens early yesterday. I was this close to a hole-in-one.
You've been working on your swing. I got us another tea time at 4 next week.
Dave notices Asha walk in and stops talking. Asha looks at them in disbelief. They look nervous at being caught off guard. Dave shakes it off.
Hey, Asha. You finished the file?
Dave gets up and takes it from Asha.
You are a lifesaver.
Dave sits down and leafs through the file. He looks up and notices Asha still standing as if she wants to say something, but does not.
See you at the meeting this afternoon.
Asha exits. As she walks down the hall, she stops and presses her fingers to her temples. She winces in pain and closes her eyes. Flashes of light. African planes seen quickly flash. Asha opens her eyes, looks around to see if anyone was watching her, shakes her head, and continues walking. Interior, Delhi, same day. Asha stands in line, waiting for her turn to order. A group of white women talking among themselves step in front of her in line.
Excuse me, I was next in line.
Sorry, I didn't see you.
The women return to their conversation, but do not move. Asha becomes irritated, but stays calm.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go to the back of the line. I was already waiting.
Well, you don't have to have an attitude about it.
The women begin to walk to the back of the line.
Why do they have to be so angry all the time?
Asha gets an intense headache. She drops her wallet, closes her eyes in pain, and presses her hands to her temples. She groans in pain. Her knees buckle. Flashes of light. African plain scenery flashes. A woman in African clothing appears and looks at the camera.
The queen sees.
Asha opens her eyes. The headache weakens. The people surrounding Asha stop and stare. Some shake their heads. Embarrassed, Asha picks up her wallet and exits quickly. Interior. Office meeting room, same day. Asha and Bill and several other co-workers sit at a meeting table. Lisa, early 30s, black, sits across from Asha. Michael, early 30s, black, sits a few chairs away from Asha. Rest of co-workers are white. Dave stands in front of a table as he finishes a presentation. Asha sits slightly annoyed.
By marketing Peterson's services to this particular demographic, they would be able to maximize their relationships with doctors, medical facilities, and healthcare providers, in turn reaching more customers.
Great presentation, Dave. Good work on all your research.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. This was a tough client.
Asha rolls her eyes.
Okay, who would like to present next?
Asha raises her hand.
Yes, Miss Mendel.
I didn't do much on Peterson's case, but I did want to toss out a few ideas, if that's okay.
Dave leans back in his chair. Stone leans back in his chair and crosses his arms.
Okay, go ahead. Quickly.
Okay. I have the vision of bringing together representatives from all demographics within the medical field, lower and higher income, young and old healthcare providers, and previous and current patients. This way, we can get a clearer picture of how Peterson can serve every demographic.
The group sits in silence. Dave tries to hide a grin.
I don't think the Peterson group is looking to have a kumbaya type of situation here. They're looking to market to the people that can actually afford their services. Not everyone can. You, of all people, should know that.
The group quietly laughs. Asha looks at Lisa for support. Lisa averts her eyes. Asha looks at Michael, who is also laughing. Asha looks back to Stone.
Mr. Stone, we have to envision the bigger picture.
Stone stands up.
I think that's all the time that we have for the meeting today.
The group begins to rise out of their chairs to leave. Asha winces in pain and catches everyone's attention. Asha presses her fingers to her temples and moans. She doubles over in her chair. Flashes of light. Longer African plain scenery flashes. A woman in African clothes appears and begins to slowly raise her hands, palm up.
The queen sees. The queen sees.
Asha opens her eyes. Everyone stares at her.
Is there a problem, Miss Mandela?
No, sir.
In my office, 5 minutes.
Interior, Stone's office, same day. Asha stands in front of Mr. Stone, sitting behind a desk, afraid to meet his eyes.
Your behavior today is unacceptable. First, you try to throw ideas at a case that was not yours. Dave worked hard on that client's case and did not need any additional feedback from you. Worry about getting your own work done and less about outshining your fellow coworkers. And that outburst in there? I don't even know what that was.
Asha raises one hand and places her fingertips on the side of her head.
Mr. Stone, it wasn't that.
I'm talking now. I'm beginning to think that you may not find this environment challenging enough for you.
Asha's eyes widen a little as Stone stands.
If you cannot respect your coworkers or feel that you need to be the center of attention, then I think this may not be the best place of employment for you. I think.
There is a flash in Asha's eyes. Stone sees it and stumbles back into his chair. Asha's eyes close as a painful headache hits her. She yelps in pain and presses her both hands against her temples. Stone is afraid.
Miss Mandela, I will not have that here.
Asha's knees buckle, but she stays standing. Flashes of light. African plain scenery. African women appears as she looks at the camera.
The queen sees.
The camera pans to the right and sees African male, number 1, dressed in African clothes, stands and faces the same direction as the camera. He looks over his left shoulder and slightly down to the camera.
The queen sees.
The Queen sees.
The camera pans to the left and sees African male number 2, dressed in African clothes, stands and faces the same direction as the camera. He looks over his right shoulder and slightly down to the camera.
The Queen sees. The Queen sees.
The camera rises and pushes forward one step. Asha is seen dressed in African clothes. She wears a crown of gold and gems. She takes a step forward. She looks slowly from left to right as she listens to the people.
The Queen sees. The Queen sees.
Asha smiles and relaxes her shoulders. She closes her eyes. When she opens them, she is back in Stone's office. Stone shakes off his fear, stands up, straightens his clothes, and clears his throat.
Miss Mandela, I don't
Let
think...
me tell you what I think. I think I have kept my mouth shut for far too long. I performed above and beyond what was required of me, and it still wasn't enough for you. I have endured working twice as hard and working longer hours, only to be told that I wasn't pulling my weight. I've been disrespected, used, abused, ignored, and misappropriated. There is so much more that people like me can offer. But you're so narrow-minded that you can't see past your privilege. What are you so scared of? Are visions outshining yours? Maybe you know deep down inside that we can create a far better world than you did. Or are you scared that we're so close to taking everything back that you stole from us? As much as you try to paint us in society with your colorless brush, we know who we are. I know who I am. I work hard. I have passion for what I do. I'm dedicated to what I do. I know my place, and it isn't at the bottom of your shoes. However, I do think that you're correct in one assumption. I'm not being challenged enough in this environment, so I've decided to create my own. Consider this my resignation. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Wanting to stop her, Stone stumbles over his words as Asha exits. Interior, different office day. Asha sits behind a large desk. 2 assistants stand on both sides of her. One assistant places a sheet of paper on the desk in front of Asha and points at the bottom of it. Asha looks down at it and smiles. The letterhead, the Quincy's marketing group. Asha picks up a pen and signs the bottom of the paper. She looks up at her employees and smiles. Interior, open floor, plain office day. A diverse group of people, mostly black, work happily and productively. Alternate ending. Interior, Asha's new office day. Asha looks into the camera and smiles as the camera pans back and fades. The end.
Thanks, y'all. I want to thank you guys for participating. Can I take this off of the stand? I want to thank you all for participating in our first ever in my entire life live table read. And participating in this rendition of Asha by Andria Chappell, which was our short script finalist for this year's 2020 submissions. One of the best short stories I've read in my 34 years of living. I want to introduce the people that are here. We have Danny Kilgore as Bill and Mr. Stone. We have Jake Kaufman as Dave. Comfort Witcher as Asha. Aji as African woman Lisa. Oh my goodness. We have narrator extraordinaire Layla Davis. We have African man and Michael Theo Whites. And then as our favorite Karens, we have Alia Matavan. I want to thank you all for participating in our first live stream. We have more things to come. Just go to columbusbiff.com. Register for your digital seats. We have another one of these table reads tomorrow. We're going to be at Roy G. Biv Gallery at 6 p.m. And then we have Blackness Under the Stars at 400 Square if the rain just stays away and does its tropical storm thing somewhere else. You can get all that information again at columbusbiff.com. Again, shout out to all of our partners, Scott Woods for letting us use this amazing space. He's a great guy. When we open back up for real, come check out the shows that are here. Also, I'm Kristen Stewart. I'm the founder of the Columbus Black International Film Festival, and I want to thank you all again.